have you ever felt that you needed to do something, but at the same time it will put you in a vulnerable place? I want to share a story. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Velez, and I want to talk to you today about everyday life and how to show up in small ways in your community. This week I had the opportunity to be part of the board meeting in my incoming school district because they're reviewing a policy in which they intend to allow unrestricted access to the restrooms for transgender students. And I had to go and express my opinions in regards to that. I am one of the persons that was opposing to the measure, but there were other people there that want to speak in favor of the measure. I tried to put my best foot forward and learn from the process, and everything went quite well. There was a large group that was there that was at some points a little bit heated up against the group that was in favor of the measure. Maybe perhaps they were ticked off about it. They've been fighting for a long time this measure. I'm just new. They probably have endured many things, but needless to say, some comments were out of order, and I want to address those. When you show up in your community, you have to show up with grace, love, and understanding, and you have to enter in any debate, especially public debate, with grace and wholeheartedly understanding that you need to listen to what is being said. Being opposed to something doesn't mean that you have the right to be disrespectful, doesn't mean that you have the right to yell comments that are out of order. It means that you have the right to speak up against a matter with truth and raise your voice with dignity and with force that comes out of the facts and out of the position that you hold. But you don't have the right to disrespect anyone because they have a different point of view than you. No matter how you think about it or how wrong you think it is, you don't have the right to judge that. And I wanted to speak to you about that because I was in the middle of that event, and I saw certain things that I felt that were not appropriate. And at the end of the meeting, as I walked outside, there was one gentleman that was in favor of the proposition that he was booed and disrespected in front of everybody. And I look at this large group and I almost screamed shut up, but there was police officers to maintain the order because this is such a heated debate. So I was like, hey, what do I do? What do I do? So I just look at them and in a assertive big eyes, my expression was like, shut up, people. But I felt really bad for this gentleman that although I did not agree with what he was saying, it was his turn to speak. So afterwards, I saw him walking and something came out of me, and I just walked towards him and I said, hey, are you the man that was disrespected and you were booed when you were doing your position? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I just want you to know that I feel very bad. That shouldn't have happened. Of course, he didn't embrace my comments and he was like pretty mean about it because he was really in a sense disrespected and he thought that I was part of the group. So I say, he said, were you booed when you were speaking? And I said, no, sir, I did not. And he said, well, and I at that point said, you know, I just want you to know that I felt really bad and ashamed of what happened to you. The only thing I didn't say is I don't belong to that group. But on that foggy moment, he just kept walking, and I just wanted him to know that even though that we were on opposite sides of the table, I saw him as a person. And perhaps it was not perfect, one of my first encounters doing these things, but what I want to encourage you today is, if you see something that is wrong, even if you don't agree with any a person or a lifestyle or a position, if you see something that is wrong, give someone grace and try to reach out, try to embrace people, try to meet them, and try to love them. Little did I know, someone saw what I did and looked at me and said, thank you for showing grace. So there was someone else that saw what happened, and it felt really bad, but didn't do anything. I had the courage and the opportunity to be vulnerable and try to reach out. And it is my hope that this man knows that at least one person was there listening wholeheartedly, and even though that doesn't agree with his position, at least I was ready to listen. Why? What does it matters to you? It matters because in everything we do, we have to carry ourselves with grace, dignity, and respect. We are ambassadors of Christ. At least I am. I am a Christian, and that's what I believe. And as I present myself, I try not to be perfect, but to at least stand each and every day and carry myself with dignity and love towards others. Sometimes I blew it like everyone else, but at least I try. And I want to encourage you today, whenever you go out in public, especially to do things that takes you out of your comfort zone, like I did this week, be gracious. Try to embrace what you're doing, embrace other people, even though that you disagree with them. Find something that you can look at and admire. Find something that you could see yourself in, because at the end, we're all people, and we were created by God, and we are loved by Him. So we're in different places, but God loves us very much. Even if they haven't reached out truth, they need to know that God loves them. And perhaps we can be the people that, by showing grace and understanding, even though that we might differ at some point, we can reach out and touch people. So I want to encourage you today to be yourself, to embrace who you are, to always be that voice in your community, and to be that voice in your workplace or in everywhere you go, to show up wholeheartedly and know that in everything you do, you can change people by doing something different. I hope that I had the opportunity to show something to this gentleman, that in the future he will look back and say, hey, Christians are not bad, and that will open his heart to look at Christ, not at the person that booed him, which we don't even know if that person was Christian. So I just want to share that with you today, share my heart, share my life, and give you some tools for success in this season. So I think that's all for today. I want to invite you to share this video, also to like my Facebook page. I'm gonna put the link down below, and also I want you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Please hit that bell so you can get the notifications. See you next time.